like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.
This is the premiere of chapter 1 of the Tribe of Judah Experience, which is my book. And this this is just chapter 1. I'm doing a read along. I'm playing it on a speaker, but I also have like my computer set up in the back so y'all can read along, because my daughter, she may like play and scream. So I have the audio and I have Walaikum Salam. I have the audio and I have the text pulled up so y'all can read along. So I'm already kind of late, so let me just get the audio started. I'm excited. And this is chapter 1. Like, took so long to freaking write. How I did it was I did it like a voice recording first. I recorded myself telling the experience, and then I listened to it and then typed and made my corrections as I went along. But oh my god, it took so long because I had so many like corrections. Okay, I'm trying to pull up the audio.
For those of you wondering who this young lady is, she goes by the name of Liz. She is not an ex-Carbonation member. However, she is married to one. This is Kite, aka the Nedrick's wife. Guys, this one I think is going to be very interesting because she is speaking about her experience with the Light Crown Melanin tribe. And I'm sure she's going to also, at some point in her book, introduce how her and Kite met.
Okay, I'm trying to pull up the audio. Hello. There it is. Okay. Let me start it. I'm trying to start it from the beginning. Oh, I see. Just be patient with me. Okay, boom. And then boom. And then boom. Peace, Kaja. What, another BB? Yeah. It's a Connie twin, y'all. Her name is Akili. Yeah, she has the same eyes. Say hi! But without further ado, boom. No. Okay, sorry, y'all. Sorry. I gotta click this.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum.
Don't touch that.
My name is Taylor Elizabeth Ingram, aka Liz, aka Illinois, and I decided to write a small book on my experience in a small cult that once went by the name Tribe of Judah. The cult has since then split up into smaller groups with different names, but while I was a part of the group, we were called the Tribe of Judah. Later into the experience, I named the group Crowned Melanin, and after I was removed from the group, it was changed back to Tribe of Judah. I decided to write a book on this to not only share my experience and my truth as a young teen who unknowingly joined the cult, but to also possibly prevent future young minds from falling victim of going through and experiencing the same things, or possibly, and very likely, even worse. As a revert Muslim, I feel as if the things I witnessed and experienced while being a part of the Tribe of Judah cult were very satanic and sick, to say the least. I also feel as though the whole new age.
Okay, so this is actually getting really interesting really quickly. She just said that the tribe / cult that she joined, the Tribe of Judah, was satanic and demonic. Like, wait, what?
satanic and sick, to say the least. I also feel as though the whole New Age occultism movement is satanic and misleading, and is a cesspool of predators, sex offenders, abusers, and addicts to escape from normal functioning society that they like to call the Matrix, all in the name of spirituality. But that's a different topic for a different time. I'm going to start with how this New Age occultism disguised as spirituality led me to these groups. So I was on my own spiritual journey trying to find and get closer to God through truth seeking. At the age of 17, I knew that I wanted to be self-sustainable. I felt as if food, fruit, and vegetables in the United States were all tampered with, or GMO, if you will. And in my head, that means it's all darn near poisonous. I wanted different for myself. I felt different. I thought different from all the others that were my age in my hometown in Mississippi. So I started acting different. I stopped eating meat. I started practicing meditation, yoga, and mental health. I always stayed physically fit and had a great self-care regimen I did every day. I started studying the 7 chakras. I was already into astrology because my mother had books on astrology and psychology, and as a small child, I would read them when there was nothing else to do. I was in my senior year of high school, and they so happened to place me in Human Anatomy 101 and World Religions 101. So I was learning about the complex functions of the brain and body while simultaneously studying and learning about all of the main religions and some sub-religions and why humans believe in the things that they do and worship the things that they do. I became interested and eventually started doing tarot and crystal work and basically everything that comes with the New Age occultism, and I chose to cultivate that. I always knew that I wanted to live and reside outside of the U.S. I always told my boyfriend in Mississippi that I didn't care where we went as long as we were surrounded by palm trees and water. He wasn't really trying to leave his family, so we would always get into arguments about that. Mind you, this is before I've met or knew about anyone from the cult. While we were staying with his family in New Orleans for a while, I would always, almost every day, slip off to a nearby beach and just meditate and chill there. He always asked me why I always went to that beach. And I told him that's just where my spirit wants to be. I've always had a connection with big bodies of water, and I was also studying and beginning to embody the Orisha deity Oshun, or at least I thought I was. LOL. I absolutely believed I was her, Oshun. I even changed my IG name and YouTube channel to be Tay Oshun. I was also infertile at the time, and I thought that embodying her would make me fertile. The more I started studying, the more I started finding people on YouTube like Vontu Cut, Spiritual Soul, Foster Eve, Rashad Jamal, Infinite Waters, and more. These are more Gen Z targeted people, but these are the types of people that I would constantly watch. I figured that most of the people I watched were men, so I decided to make my own YouTube channel for women and girls my age. I started posting videos on my IG and YouTube, and as my pages started to grow, I started to get noticed by a couple of the YouTubers I named earlier. I've even had phone and video calls with them, main one being Vontu Cut, and he'll appear again later in the story as well. One day I was watching Von's IG story, and he posted this mixed guy who was speaking very robotic about some of the stuff we believed in as naive teenagers who were supposedly seeking truth. This guy went by the name Junive Gold on IG, but in real life his name was Jami Smith. And boy, did he have the gift of the gab. I took interest in Jami and the things he was saying, so I followed him and I joined one of his lives, where basically I spoke a little and showed him and his audience my daily fitness routine and self-care regimens. I showed some books I was reading at the time and some quotes that I made and pasted on my wall. Little did I know, that day I joined that live is when my entire life would change completely. One of the kids that was watching the live, K-Dot, made a group chat of everyone who was in the live, and then made an even smaller group chat from that group chat. The people who were in this smaller chat were 15-year-old Akosha, aka Amia, aka Ezekiel's sister, and Onika's daughter, 15-year-old K-Dot, 17-year-old Ezekiel, aka Osiris, aka entire life would change completely. One of the kids that was watching the live, K-Dot, made a group chat of everyone who was in the live, and then made an even smaller group chat from that group chat. The people who were in this smaller chat were 15-year-old Akosha, aka Amia, aka Ezekiel's sister, and Onika's daughter, 15-year-old K-Dot, 17-year-old Ezekiel, aka Osiris, aka Zay, 18-year-old me, Taylor, aka Oshun, aka Liz, 19-year-old Jami, aka Junive, 22-year-old Off-White, 38-year-old Onika, aka Rose, aka Ezekiel's mother, and Akosha's mother, and others whose names I cannot remember because they never left their homes to be with us in Florida. In the group chat, there were ideas coming from us.
All right, guys. So I'm just going to catch you guys up a little bit on Rose, aka Grand Empress I, aka Just I, aka Miss Brown, and her children. This woman followed Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy, aka Chief Papa John Hot Pocket, aka Chief Administrative Segregation's teachings. During her time of following him, she ended up physically joining Carbonation while they were in Hawaii. Unbeknownst to her, right before she got to Hawaii, the group was arrested. She had already sent Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy, aka Chief Papa John Hot Pocket, aka Chief Administrative Segregation, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, upwards of $10,000. She sold all of her worldly belongings and was going to join Carbonation with her 2 minor children. Now, when they arrived in Hawaii, they had nothing because they had already given everything that they had to the tribe/cult. However, they were told that they could not stay and had to leave. So, Rose, aka Grand Empress I, aka Just I, aka Miss Brown, packed up her children and continued to move from pillow to post, teaching and preaching the Carbonation cult knowledge. And she still does it to this day, guys.
Ezekiel, aka Osiris, aka Zay, 18-year-old me, Taylor, aka Oshun, aka Liz, 19-year-old Jami, aka Junive, 22-year-old Off-White, 38-year-old Onika, aka Rose, aka Ezekiel's mother, and Akosha's mother, and others whose names I cannot remember because they never left their homes to be with us in Florida. In the group chat, there were ideas coming from Osiris that they, as in he, Amia, and Onika, were planning on moving to Costa Rica and getting out of the U.S., and that going to the tropics and building a village was the move. He was going on and on about how they had $30K saved up and they were basically ready to pack up and go, and whoever wanted to come with them. Of course, to all of us who were in the group chat, this sounded amazing. This was a dream come true. Most of us were on board, so all we had to do was pack our bags. Me, personally, I was ready to leave the situation I was in. I was living with my ex-boyfriend, and we had been broken up for about 3 to 4 weeks. The reason he let me stay is because I had nowhere else to go. The group was always on Zoom calls discussing the plan for how all of us were going to leave and other things like knowledge about spirituality. Osiris will always talk about mystical and irrational things that no one knew what he was talking about, and I later found out that this was because he was in a state of psychosis for not sleeping for over 4 days, mixed with smoking marijuana. He will always say things like how he was floating and walking around in the spirit realm and a lot of other crazy things. He will always text me about how I was his twin flame and his divine counterpart. He sent me long paragraphs back to back about how we were meant to be together and be the ones to usher in the new earth. He was meant to be my divine masculine and me his divine feminine. I was very receptive of this idea and thought that it was a very romantic situation. It was such a contrast from my ex, who was a chronic weed smoker, who had guns and always listened to the most violent and ratchet music. You know, your average guy from the hood. As a group, we decided that we would all meet up in Florida, and from Florida we would book tickets to go live in Hilo, Hawaii. I told Osiris that I could not afford a ticket to fly out to Florida, and he assured me that his mother, Rose, would pay for my flight. I decided that there was nothing left for me in Mississippi and that I was so misunderstood by family, friends, and my ex-boyfriend, and that I was the only woke person around. So it was easy for me to just pack everything and simply leave everything and everyone behind. I had so many shoes, so many clothes, so many wigs, beauty supplies, makeup, and more. Thousands of dollars worth of stuff I was willing to leave behind because I decided that I needed a fresh start, and that's exactly what I did. I got on the plane and landed in Cleveland, Ohio for a layover, which was a total of 18 hours. I was waiting for so long and eventually had to sleep there in the airport overnight. I told Osiris that I landed for the layover and he suggested that I watch a couple of videos about knowledge while I waited. He sent me a couple of videos to watch and they were all made from this guy, Nature Boy. This was my absolute first time hearing and seeing about Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy. I watched about half of the video we was about.
I don't know about y'all, but I find it very interesting that Osiris, aka Ezekiel, aka Grand Empress I's son, was actually grooming this young lady and even sent her Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy, aka Chief Hopper John Hot Pocket, aka Chief Administrative Segregation's videos for her to watch while she was on her layover. Now, that to me is a clear indication that these individuals, while they were not with carbonation physically for more than a period of 2 to 3 weeks, their mother, Rose, aka Grand Empress I, aka Just I, has been indoctrinating her children for a very long time. So technically, they are carbonation. This is another reason why I'm always like, there are more carbonation members / supporters than we realize out there, because the other people that Liz has named, I don't even know who they are. I'm gonna be looking for them. Y'all know I gotta find them.
Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy. I watched about half of the video. We was about an hour to 2 hours long, and I think it was about how we are selling our own body. This didn't sound like anything new to me, since all I did back home was get high and binge watch Gaia, which talk about the same things. So I didn't finish it all because it wasn't really like, wow, I've never heard this before. But of course, what he was saying resonated with me at the time. Throughout the wait of my layover, Osiris would send me weird texts of how he was seeing demons and reptile creatures walking all over, and how he was ready to receive his divine superpowers from the Anunnaki so that he could destroy all of the reptilians. In my mind, I still didn't know that he was in a state of psychosis. I just thought that he was super tapped into the spirit realm and that his so-called powers were getting stronger. This caused me to not to question the things he was saying and even hype him up even further and go along with everything that he was saying, even though I didn't fully understand what he was talking about. While I was on my way to get on the next...
I ain't even finna hold y'all but 2 things. If I was going to be with a dude and all of a sudden he's sending me text messages talking about he can see demonic spirits and reptilians and he can't wait to get his powers so he could slay all the demons and all that sugar honey iced tea, I'm not going. Honey, I'm not going. I'm turning right around and I'm going back home to my mama. I sure am. The second thing is, if she does this again, I hope that she does it when her kids are in nap time, because she's so soft spoken. You know, if the baby coos, it's hard to hear her. Or maybe turn up the volume on whatever device she's playing that recording. Because, at times, as she's reading, I'm having a difficult time deciphering.
While I was on my way to get on the next plane that would take me to Florida, I got a text from Drami saying that Osiris is being held in a mental hospital. I sent some laughing emojis because I thought it was a joke, or that they were trying to prank me. He let me know that it was serious and not a prank. I told him that I was so confused, and he went on to explain how in the middle of the night, Osiris went walking and he started screaming the same things he was texting me on the phone. How people weren't really people and that they were reptilians in disguise. He said Osiris walked up to someone's door and knocked on it, and when they opened the door, he started screaming and yelling at them how they were a reptilian and that their time was up. I was baffled at what he was telling me. I still chose to believe that they were pranking me and that I would see Osiris and the rest of them when I got off the plane. So I brushed it off and got on the plane, hoping to see Osiris when I got off, thinking about how I would embrace him when I finally...
Guys, if you are here at the premiere, check your neighbor real quick. Did they hit the like button yet? Have you hit the like button yet? If you haven't, please go ahead and smash the heck out of that like button for me one time. If you're catching this on the replay gang, go ahead and tap in. Smash that like button, drop me a comment. Hey Bush babies, how y'all doing? Y'all know I gotta shout y'all out all the time because I need all of y'all to come on out of the bushes. Go on ahead and subscribe to the channel. Set your notifications to all so that you are notified when I go live or add new content.
Hoping to see Osiris when I got off, thinking about how I would embrace him when I finally saw him. When I got off the plane and out of the airport, I saw them waiting on me. There was K-Dot, Amia, and Yami, all waiting for me. I embraced them all warmly at once and then one at a time. I was so happy to see them. I asked them where Osiris was, still thinking it was a prank, and Amia reassured me that he was indeed in the mental hospital. My heart dropped to my ankles. I was completely heartbroken. I was so ready to meet him in person, but I couldn't. She told me everything that y'all told me before, confirming that everything was true. They took me to the van where I met Rose and Baby Allah. Rose is at the time 2-year-old son. I tell her how adorable he is, and we all just continue to converse in the car. Rose tells us how she needs to go get Osiris' bag from the mental hospital because he had a huge bag of weed in there that we could smoke. While we waited for the hospital to confirm that we could come, Rose booked us a very nice Airbnb at a beach house that was a 5-minute walk from a very nice beach. After she picked up Osiris' bag, she took us to the Airbnb and we all unpacked. I went outside with Amia to get to know my new little sister. She told me all about herself and same and vice versa. She was such a sweet person, so warm and innocent. I loved her with every bone in my body already. Rose came outside and asked if I wanted to go to Walmart with them to get some food. I said yes. While in Walmart, Amia said that she had to tell me a secret, but first she wanted me to kiss. I don't know why, but the first thing that came to my mind was, "Are you gay?" We all laughed and she said no. I asked what it was because I would be all gay.
Interested in a great read? Check out Greatness is a Habit authored by Aaron Dixon, also known as True. Many of you know him as True. He has authored this amazing read. The book is available on Apple Books. Get your copy today and stay motivated to win.
We all laughed and she said no. I asked what it was because I would be all gay guessing. That's when she told me that her and Yami were dating. My first instinct was to wince because he was about to be 20 and she was only 15. But I gave a surprised look and squealed in excitement because if she was happy, I was happy. I was trying to be as open-minded as possible with my new family. We brought back food and water and Rose got us all some champagne, even though all of us, except her, were under the age of drinking. Over dinner, we all started to bond and tell our life stories and the traumas we experienced and what led us to start our spiritual journey. After dinner, we were all kind of chilling around with some music. Baby Allah kept coming up to Rose, and every time he came, Rose would give him a small sip of champagne. I asked her if that was okay, and she insisted that it was, and that it helps him calm down. I've never heard anything like that and didn't know anything about having a child, so I didn't question it any further. This was my first culture shock, so to speak. I asked K-Dot how he was able to come since he was so far from his home and his parents up in New York. He told me that he wrote a letter to his parents saying how he was leaving and not to look for him. After that, he tossed his phone and Rose, Osiris, and Amia came to pick him up. After that, they drove 16 hours to Florida where they picked up Jogging. A few days go by and I'm missing Osiris every step of the way. Rose called the mental hospital to get updates on his state of being and to talk to him. She gave me the phone so that I was able to speak to him as well. While we were on the phone, he was still talking about the same things, and I told him that if he wanted to get out, he was going to have to act like the things he was saying were fake and not true, which they actually weren't, or else he will stay in there for God knows how long. He told me that he was the true Osiris and that the other kids in there were bowing down to him and that they knew of his powers and who he was. Of course they did, LOL. I don't think I was getting through to him or that he was understanding what I was saying. More days passed by. A guy called Off-White comes to join us and we welcome him in, and Osiris is still in the mental hospital. My birthday comes along and we all go. To the beach and have fun. After the beach, we walked back to the Airbnb and Rose and Amia prepare us vegan burgers and homemade french fries with champagne. We were chilling at the beach outside, eating and talking, and Rose brings out the weed from Osiris's bag, and we all smoked and started having a deep talk about consciousness and spirituality. Later, we had more champagne, danced, and enjoyed the rest of my birthday. A few days later, we were eating around lunchtime, and we hear a knock at the door. My initial thought that it was the police, but I didn't know for sure. I opened the door, and sure enough, it was the Sarasota Police Department. They asked if K-Dot was here, and I just moved out of the way so that they could see him. They told him to come here and asked if he knew that his parents were looking for him. He said no. They took him outside to question him. While they were questioning him, they were asking him questions about who we are. I told them we were called the Tribe of Judah, LOL. I told him that we're just environmentalists, to say the least. I let him know that we weren't a dangerous group or a cult. He seemed as if he believed me. K-Dot came back inside and told us that he was leaving. He started to pack his belongings. He and Amia started crying, and we all started giving him hugs and saying goodbye. He walked out of the door and got into the police car, and they drove off. That was the last we saw of K-Dot, but not the last we saw of the police.
Just a little commentary, y'all. K-Dot was 15, and they picked him up. That's basically a kidnapping. They got him from New York and brought him all the way to Florida. He was 15. He was a minor, so that was a kidnapping charge.
The police came back a few hours later, this time with even more police cars and CPS. They were not happy. Before they knocked on the door, Johnny and Off-White hid in the bathroom and flushed all the weed down the toilet and stayed in there. Rose told Amia to stay in the room and pretend to be asleep, and she closed the door. The CPS lady walked in first and looked around, asking Rose questions heavily. They were suspicious that we were a sex trafficking group. Baby Allah came around the corner, and the CPS lady saw and asked angrily, "Are there any more kids here?" That's when the cops opened the room door and they saw Amia fake sleeping, which didn't look good at all because they didn't open the bathroom door, which was in the room, and Johnny and Off-White came out. The CPS lady said, "I'm going to be sick," and angrily walked out of the Airbnb. None of this was a good look. They had everyone sitting in the front room so that they could take our pictures and fingerprints. An officer asked Off-White if he had been arrested before. He told them no, and the officer proceeded to ask him for his government name that I cannot remember for the life of me. He gave his government name, and the officer pulled up his arrest records within seconds. "Why did you lie to me?" the officer said. Off-White just shrugged his shoulders. The officers arrested Rose and took her children, Amia and Baby Allah, to CPS to go into foster care. They took the...
I ain't even finna hold y'all, but I was not able to find her arrest record. So I'm going to go on ahead and guess that she must have gave the officials a fake name or an alias, like with a fake ID. Maybe she had a fake ID. Who knows with these people? Because I'm not able to find her actual... I know her legal name. I know Grand Empress I, aka Just I, aka Miss Brown's full name, but I just can't find her in Hawaii. I'm gonna keep looking though. That would be an interesting police report to review.
Amia and Baby Allah to CPS to go into foster care. They took the rest of us in for questioning, but they only questioned Jami and Amia, and I think Off-White, but I can't remember. It took hours and hours, but they finally released us and brought us back home. When we got there, I realized that it was only me, Jami, and Off-White left. Jami hopped out of the police car very angrily and stormed off towards the beach. Me and Off-White followed behind him. He started going on a rant on how we were moving stupidly and how the whole situation could have been avoided. He went on to start talking about how the family and how they all got themselves locked away and that they were stupid. Off-White joined in and started saying harsh things as well. I started going on about how I had nowhere to go after this and that I didn't have any money to get a flight back to Mississippi and how I gave up everything before coming. We were all speaking like this, thinking that we'd never see Osiris, Rose, Amia, or Baby Allah again.
Just a little more commentary. Jami was the supposedly leader of our tribe, or chief, or whatever you want to call it. He was supposedly the leader, so we all just like listened to him all the time. He even told us that he had us believe that he was Jesus. He told us that he was Jesus, the second coming of Jesus. And so we always listen to him. He was like the say so. And at Slim Sassy Classy, no, I don't. It's not on the market yet. And y'all can ask me questions after the premiere.
Out of nowhere, Uncle White told me that I should be with Jami instead of Osiris. Jami quickly agreed and proceeded to go on another rant about Osiris and how he never really wanted to be with Omia. He had always wanted to be with me. He said that Osiris was too weak for me and that Omia was too young for him. Uncle White joined in and began saying how I'd knock Osiris out in a heartbeat and that Jami was a better fit for me. Jami began to tell me how he stared at my breasts through my tank tops and imagined me naked while he masturbated in the bathroom. All of this truly shocked me. I didn't know how to respond because I was still focused on how I was going to get back to Mississippi. They then started talking about how Jami knew a guy who would buy them plane tickets to wherever they were planning on going. My heart dropped because I still knew that I still had nowhere to go, no one to call, and no money at all. I was thinking that I was going to be stranded in Florida with nothing. That's when Jami said that I could come with them if I was willing to be with him. I told him that I was with Osiris, and he insisted me that we weren't going to see those people again because Rose got a kidnapping charge, which was a felony, and that me and Osiris were not meant to be together, that me and him were. He was just like Nature Boy. My first instinct was to ignore him and remain loyal to Osiris, but I felt weak. I had no faith that God would keep me safe and protected and not leave me stranded somewhere where I had nothing. Instead, I believed everything Jami told me and went with him to have intercourse on that same beach. I felt so disgusting afterwards. On the walk back to the Airbnb, I cried and prayed to God that I was still infertile. I asked myself, what am I doing? And how can I do something like that? This was absolute reckless behavior. This was my so-called sister's boyfriend, and I just gave up hope and cheated on my so-called twin flame. I made a decision while being on survival mode, but that doesn't make it excusable or moral. If I could take it back, I would, but I can't. I should have had faith in God, but then again, I had no God at the time. My belief was that I was God and that I was the center of my reality. And that belief right there was the cause of my downfall.
Have you checked out our new merch? Support the Medaya movement, where comfort is our main goal. Let your wardrobe be a reflection of your finesse and personal flair. With every thread woven with care, our apparel is designed to not just look great, but feel great too. We believe in celebrating every body type with our diverse range of stylish, high-quality clothing. We are not just selling merch, we're curating confidence, ensuring you step out in style every single day. Experience the blend of fashion-forward trends and timeless classics in our collections. And with our inclusive sizing, you'll find the perfect fit that makes you feel confident and fabulous. Embrace the Medaya movement experience today. Shop now. The link is in the bio.
And that I was the center of my reality. And that belief right there was the cause of my downfall every single time. When we got back to the Airbnb, the three of us planned to pack our things whenever we got the okay from whatever connect Jami had that would buy us our plane tickets to his place. Off-White was going through all of this stuff saying how we should basically rob them, and Jami joined in. Me, myself, I couldn't steal from them, so I just walked out of the room. I couldn't steal from them too. My heart is already broken from betraying them and ditching them. We woke up the next morning and I hopped in the shower. A few minutes later, Jami hopped in with me and told me how he had ejaculated in me the night before. He wanted me to have his baby. He was very excited, but in my head, I was still praying to God that my period would come. We go on about our day, still planning our exodus. We're sitting on the balcony of the Airbnb when we see a car pull up. We were looking and wondering who it could be. That's when we see Rose get out of the car and walk towards the Airbnb. All I could think about was how I just did everything I just did with this man for nothing.
And that's the end. Oh, hold on. Oh no. But that's the end. Golly. Okay. My bad. That's the end, y'all, of chapter 1. And that's just chapter 1. So much stuff went on. Hold on, let me fix my clothes and that's just chapter 1. That's just freaking chapter 1, bro. Like, some of the stuff went on that, like I said in the beginning, I feel was satanic. But that's it. No, the book not on the market yet because I still have to finish it. I just wanted to premiere chapter 1 just to put it out there, because it's been years of me just thinking, like, should I let it go or should I tell my truth? Should I let it go? Should I tell my truth? Should I let it go? Like, oh, they gonna be mad if I say it, but I don't care no more. It's 2024 and I'm ready to get my truth out there, and I don't care who got what to say. If anybody got anything to say, they can come at me if I ain't blocked you already. But yeah, that's just, thank you for sharing with us. I can't wait until it's out. I'm definitely going to support you. Thank you. We'll definitely be buying. Thank you. Yeah, this is a good read. Don't let it go. Tell your truth, sister. And I will. Can't wait to support. Thank you guys so much. That's, like I said, that's just chapter 1. Like, chapter 2. Chapter 2? And like a few y'all thought freaking carbonation was bad. Y'all thought carbonation was bad? But anyway, that's chapter 1, y'all. If y'all any questions before I end it, any questions about chapter 1? It's a lot. Like I say, I thought about going live and speaking about it, but it's not just something you can talk about in one live. I literally will have to write a book about it. You and Tori from Carbonation were the only ones that have some sense. Keep glowing. I'm glad you and your husband was kept and brought out. Thank you.